All right, folks, it is June 5th, 2023. It's a Monday, and we're starting off the week with a bombshell lawsuit dropped against Binance, the largest exchange in the world. Now, many of us saw this coming. We've been talking about the shady activities, how Binance was a big part of propping up this cryptocurrency space. I'm going to show you guys, remind you of what we were talking about at the start of this year. The manipulation was clear as day. The operations we knew were shady at best, and there's a reason why prominent folks who used to work at Binance got out while they could. We're going to cover it all in today's session, going over the timeline, breaking down this lawsuit, how it's going to impact the whole cryptocurrency space. But wait, how the fact that we have to take a look here at XRP holding up strong. It did dip slightly here today, but we are still above 50 cents with all of this chaos and the coordinated Operation Choke Point kicking back up into the next phase here, going after the biggest exchange within the space. At the time of this recording, we're at about 8 o'clock on the West Coast, Monday night. We see the overall cryptocurrency market cap has dropped by about 5%, down to 1 trillion. Bitcoin trading at 25,750. So back down to 25K for Bitcoin, 1,800 for Ethereum, and XRP holding in at 50 cents. Now let's take a look here at the sticks, folks. Like I said, XRP actually holding strong. You see, we've already done the breakout here over the weekend, and we pumped up here back up to 54 cents. Absolutely love to see it. We cool off here, and we take a little bit of a dump today while this news is going on, but you see the XRP still holding strong, still holding 50 cents, and this is what we like to see. The overall cryptocurrency space holding strong considering all of the news that just got dropped on us. I think that most of the space doesn't realize how big of an impact this is going to have. I was listening to Twitter Spaces earlier today. A lot of the Bitcoin bros defending Binance. Of course, Binance was a big part of propping up Bitcoin, big part of starting Bitcoin's rally at the start of this year. And you know that many of them were behind Binance because they know what's going on. They don't care that it's fake, the wash trading, the manipulation. As long as it props up their precious Bitcoin, they don't care. And so I was listening on the Twitter Spaces taking place today. They actually did mention XRP briefly. I heard it mentioned once, and they briefly touched on it, and then they changed topics once again. But all they had to say about Ripple XRP is that Ripple has a bunch of cash. No, yeah, Ripple does have cash. We all are aware of that. They're a very successful business, but they also have a different set of facts and circumstances in regards to Ripple XRP. And when you have the truth on your side, and the truth is that you didn't do an ICO, you didn't offer an unregistered security, you just are utilizing a decentralized ledger known as the XRP ledger, and the native token for that ledger is XRP, and it was gifted to you, and you're using it to, use cross-border payments, other utilities coming to the XRP ledger. We've been breaking that down. A lot of excitement in the XRP space. And the Bitcoin bros want to just say that, oh, Ripple has cash. And you know where they're going to go with that Ripple has cash because they're dumping on us, and that's why they were able to afford this lawsuit. Completely dismissing the facts and the circumstances around Ripple XRP, the facts that it is a legitimate business, is leading the industry in transparency and doing things the proper way. But I digress, and that's a separate topic that you guys already know about, but it does relate. Because I titled this session, SEC Gets Desperate, because I think that the SEC knows they're about to be handed a record loss in this SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. And then they wanted to use this Binance case. They've been sitting on this one. They've been building up their case along with other federal government agencies. And now you see the coordinated Operation Choke Point getting launched. And it seems like the SEC kind of jumped the gun because they're trying to get jurisdiction over these assets. They're trying to get jurisdiction over this space right now. And so the SEC seems to have jumped the gun. While we know there's other investigations underway, the big what if is going to be, is the Department of Justice going to get involved in this? But let's break this situation down. Massive update here for you guys here today. We get the news, and the SEC is already bragging about this lawsuit that they brought here. Today, we charge Binance Holdings, U.S.-based affiliate BAM Trading Services, which together with Binance operates Binance.us, and their founder, CZ, with a variety of securities laws violation. And they actually share this quote. This is a quote from Binance Chief Compliance Officer in 2018. "We are operating as a effing unlicensed securities exchange in the USA, bro." So they literally dropped this tweet here today, and they cite Binance Chief Compliance Officer 2018. We are operating as an effing unlicensed securities exchange in the USA, bro. That is not a good look for Binance. Now, Fred Rispoli says the full list of crypto asset securities as alleged by the SEC are the following: BNB and Binance USD. Now, remember, folks, and I wanted to highlight that we're going to talk about this. BUSD, Binance USD, was massively printed back in January. And you guys remember us covering this. Binance USD started to print at the Paxos Treasury, and that was what led to the run-up that we saw in January at the beginning of the year. We saw that the Paxos Treasury was minting a bunch of Binance USD, helping to prop it up. And then again on January 20th, we had a massive print of USDC, which led to taking Bitcoin to where it is towards March. And then that back in March is when the banking crisis started, and that's where Bitcoin took it and ran back up to 30K. But Binance is a large part of what has been manipulating Bitcoin up until this point, a large part of what was happening at the beginning of this year. And so we see Binance USD, BNB tokens obviously alleged as securities, along with Solana, Cardano, Matic, Filecoin, Atom, Sand, Mana, Algo, AXS, Cody, AMP, REP, UST, and TRX. Okay, and now Fred is retweeting here. He's coming at Charles Hoskinson. Say it ain't so, my brother. I didn't know you were selling securities with ADA. Why did you do that to us? Or are you telling me the SEC allegation against Cardano is a security is a sack of you know what? And so it's funny to see this come full circle. All the folks that hated on Ripple, hated on us conspiracy theorists for talking about the Ethereum free pass and how the rest of the space wasn't clear and how the rest of the space was going to go away, just like Brad said. 99% of cryptos are going away, just like we've been warning about for years now that Binance is a shady exchange. We don't trust them. There's tons of operations that have been going on behind the scenes that are not legitimate. And then the other kicker was seeing Brian Brooks leave, the former comptroller of the currency, the OCC. Brian Brooks took a head position at Binance US before he ended up leaving there after a very brief stint. Now, MetaLawman says this: the SEC complaint against Binance appears to solve the mystery of why Brian Brooks abruptly resigned as CEO of Binance US in 2021. CZ allegedly reneged on promises that Brooks would be given autonomy to run Binance US independently from Binance. The complaint cites an unnamed source who ran Binance US briefly in 2021. We know from the dates in the complaint that the source must be Brian Brooks, who ran Binance US for 3 months in mid-2021. The complaint quotes testimony Brooks gave about his brief stint as CEO. Brooks testified that CZ broke promises made to him in the recruitment process. As Brooks put it, quote, "I realized, I'm not actually the one running this company, and the mission that I believe I signed up for isn't the mission. And as soon as I realized that, I left." Now, I remember covering this at the time, and we said, oh, wow, Binance US is bringing on Brian Brooks, former comptroller of the currency. This is a very big deal. Maybe Binance is getting its act together and they're looking to be legit, or at least make Binance US legit. But as we understand now, through these allegations and our speculation, is that Binance US was just operated as an extension of Binance and the overall operations and schemes and funneling and games and manipulation that were taking place directed by CZ, and that you really had a culture of this manipulation and a culture of avoiding the regulators. And okay, we're not legit in this country, we move to the next one, we just bounce around jurisdictions, they can't catch us. And they did the typical thing that we've seen here in the crypto space of not approaching regulators and trying to work with them. Is what the SEC is doing here, the proper thing to do? No, absolutely not. And this is the SEC getting desperate, right? They're about to lose a record historic case, one of the largest financial cases in the last 100 years. They're going to lose that case to Ripple, and I believe that they have fired and jumped the gun here sooner than the rest of their counterparties at the federal government who are investigating Binance. I think that they were building the case. They see the writing on the wall. They're about to lose to the Ripple case here, and so they've launched this next attack in a desperate act here to claim jurisdiction over these securities that they're alleging in this case. Now we continue on. How do we usher in a CBDC? How do we get rid of 99% of cryptos? Is this all a plan all along? I believe it is. Finance Lot says the plan is unfolding before your eyes. Number one, SEC sues Binance and CEO Chow for breaking U.S. securities laws. Second, June refill of the Treasury General account causing liquidity shortage. Now remember, folks, we talked about this in last night's Sunday session. We covered how the Treasury is about to refill their Treasury General account by dumping over $1 trillion worth of Treasury bonds on the market. Who are going to be the buyers is the big question. And of course, we know if no one's going to be the buyers, the Federal Reserve will just step up and add to their balance sheet. So we get the June refill of the Treasury General accounts causing a liquidity shortage because everyone's taking money out of their bank deposits, moving to money market funds, record amount of liquidity leaving the banking system, but then it's also going to be moving back into bonds. This could cause another bank run. Next, we see FedNow Network is launching in July, so we know that, along with regulators increasing bank capital requirements by 20%. So they're forcing these banks to up their backing and increase their bank capital requirements, collapsing M2 money supply. Now, you also have to add in this. Anders reminds us, never forget on a day like this, keep your eyes on the prize. NASDAQ is eyeing Q2 2023 release for Bitcoin and crypto custody platform. Do you see this plan? Do you see the rollout to kill this, even the centralized exchanges like Binance, the decentralized exchanges as well? Operation Choke Point in full force. You shut down all these exchanges and you usher everybody into your Wall Street buddies at the NASDAQ and the rest of the gang, where NASDAQ here is getting ready to offer their new custody solution here in Q2 of this year. This is all done by design. They let the crypto space blow up. They let them have fun. And, I've talked about this for the last 2 years, watching some of these influencers. I got my start on TikTok, right? So I got to watch the shows on TikTok. And what the government does and what these guys do within law enforcement is they allow the bad actor to build the case against themselves. Right? They allow themselves to big it up and they actually encourage it, right? And sometimes this is when you get informants in there that are actually getting them to, increase their activity that they're doing. What we see here is a bunch of allegations. We're going to see what the proof is here, but we've been talking about how they've been watching Binance closely. They've been watching all of the bad actors closely. And I think that they were saving this one in their back pocket. They tried to see how far they could get against Ripple, and they ran into an army of 75,000 plus XRP holders with John Deaton, and we got on their ass, and we've been exposing their corruption, right? And it goes deep, and it goes all the way to the very top. And meanwhile, we're seeing that Biden's little bribery schemes being investigated by the FBI, and they're worried about their informant getting whacked. But that's a side note, right? Talking about corruption and schemes. I just had to mention that. We'll cover that in a different episode. But we'll see what comes out of this Binance case. We knew that there was operations going on that were shady, and we knew that the FBI, Department of Justice, and others, SEC included, of course, were building their case. Now they make the move in a desperate act as they know they're about to lose to the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. And this all coincides with the rollout of the FedNow coming in July. And you have a lot of issues that are going to be hitting the market right now with the liquidity shortage that we're going to be experiencing, folks. You guys need to be ready to strap in. We see it gets the darkest right before the light comes in. The darkness to light is what we're experiencing right now. It's getting dark out there. A lot of people panicking in the crypto space. But for those of us that have been tapped in, there is no panic over here. There is no worry. There is no concern. And I put out freaking 20-something tweets today. I had a little extra time on my hand and everything was popping off in the markets. So I put out 20 tweets today, but it feels amazing to be in the XRP community. And it's not that I want to see our weaponized regulators go after people that are trying to be legitimate, but what did these guys expect when they were running all sorts of these schemes, thinking that they were above the law, thinking that they could avoid the law, and it's all coming back on them, and it's being, filed in this lawsuit right here. Not that we're fans of the SEC, but we're also not fans of the manipulators that have been propping up and rigging the cryptocurrency market up until this point. And as we talked about, folks, we need to go through this. We need to go through this pain. We need to clean our house up. We need to get rid of 99% of the space because it is just scams. There is no utility. You're not solving a real problem at best, and at worst, you're scams. right? And so we have to go through this pain before we break through, we get to the other side, and you're about to see crypto utility unlocked, and you're about to see Wall Street pour in floods, trillions of dollars worth of liquidity coming into this space. And this is what we've been waiting for. And who is going to be the first one through the door with clarity? That's going to be XRP. Now, Fred Rispoli has to tip Eleanor Terrett, who says, helping Fred realize that although it does make sense for the SEC to not attack XRP in other lawsuits as the Ripple case is nearing an end, the more accurate reason might be that any lawsuit with XRP is an open invitation for John Deaton and the rest of the amici to come in guns blazing. And you guys know that we will be on top over the target until we get our level playing field. And that's the case right here. And so XRP was not mentioned as a security in this lawsuit. How is that possible? You have a $1.3 billion lawsuit alleging that Ripple sold unregistered securities, XRP, and we see a lawsuit dropped here against Binance and no mention of XRP being sold as a security. How is that possible? No mention of XLM being sold as a security. Very interesting. Mr. Jed McCaleb, making sure that his project is clean and on the up and up. Absolutely. How is that possible? Folks, as I've been saying, we won this case. I'm not going to shy away from saying that and making that claim. We have won this case. We have clarity. The only thing they're going to be able to get Ripple on is maybe some early sales, maybe some investment contracts and some options that Ripple did with early sales, and that's all they can get. XRP in its current market form. Apparently, the XRP that Binance was selling was not a security either. Otherwise, it would be in this lawsuit, right? They're scared of us. They're scared of the XRP community, and they know that we have the truth on our side. We are over the target, and we've been applying so much pressure. The victory is coming. The victory is soon. And this was a desperate act by the SEC trying to claim jurisdiction over this space and trying to cover up for the fact that they're about to make and have a record historic loss against Ripple. Now, got me thinking here today, and I put out this tweet. Don't forget that Ripple just acquired a stake in Bitstamp, one of the leading exchanges for XRP, the second largest exchange for XRP. Actually, the only bigger exchange for selling XRP and for XRP trading was Binance. So now, think about this. Binance gets hit with this lawsuit, and just weeks before, Ripple acquires a major stake in a competitor, another exchange, Bitstamp. And it just so happens that Bitstamp is the second largest exchange trading for XRP. But that's not it. But wait, there's more, right? Tom Monaghan. Huge shout out to Tom for sharing this tweet here. He says, anomalies with Bitstamp. One, of the first crypto exchanges and first to list XRP. Two, they have a bit license to operate in New York. Only one of 3 exchanges. Now that's major. That's major. When you get clarity, when you get the go-ahead, the green light to operate with a bit license in New York, only one of 3 exchanges, that's a major deal. The only exchange to distribute Songbird and Flare to New York customers. Love to see it. And they have Bitstamp USD IOU integrated into the Zum wallet. How about that, folks? So additional liquidity. Seems to me that Bitstamp is a big fan of XRP. He says, I always thought something was different about Bitstamp. Once Ripple acquired their share, it all clicked. So folks, you seeing the dominoes starting to fall? You starting to see that snowball rolling down the hill and the avalanche that's about to come into the Ripple XRP ecosystem? While the rest of the space is running scared, running for the hills, trying to avoid these lawsuits, fresh lawsuits getting dropped on them, we're about to be busting through the gate. First one in, first one out, and we're about to send this thing. The train has already left the station. There is still time to hop aboard, so we're saving our friends and family and our loved ones that we care about most by sharing this content far and wide. We're making sure that we smash the thumbs up. We're making sure that we hit that notification bell so we don't miss any of this content. But we gotta understand, folks, here's the Binance timeline. We have Brian Brooks leaving. That's where it gets started. Brian Brooks leaving, that's when we said, okay, something's up. This confirms that Binance is not legit. We thought they were on the up and up, that we thought that's why they got Brian Brooks, but then he leaves. Not good. Then we go back to January. And in fact, I wanted to actually show you guys this on the chart so you guys remember what I'm talking about. Let's go to the Bitcoin chart right here and you can see what I'm talking about. We go to the daily chart here. Let me zoom all the way back out. Let's go all the way back out here to January. And this is what happened with Bitcoin to start this year. Here you go. Take a look at that. So we're on the daily chart, Bitcoin here, and you see that we were back here at 16,000 right at the beginning of the year. And then all through January, we get this massive run up back up to 20K. And what were we saying at the time? You remember me. I'm going to have to go back and pull the clips maybe. But we were watching the, I don't know if it was whale alert or what alert it was, but we were seeing hundreds of millions that were getting printed at the Binance USD, at the Paxos Treasury. Just hundreds of millions and billions of Binance USD that were getting printed at the Paxos Treasury. And we were pointing to it. We were saying, guys, this is the manipulation. We were saying, yes, guys, we would love for the bear market to be over. We would love for the crypto space to have already bottomed out, and we would love to send it. But this is not legit. This is manipulation. This is Binance rigging this thing. And they're using the Paxos Treasury to mint all this fresh Binance USD. And sure enough, Bitcoin goes up to 20K. And then we get the final blow off top. And as I said, because I remember the exact date. Back here, January 20th. Like I said, you go back and look at this chart. On January 20th, the exact day that USDC decides to mint, I think it was almost $200 million worth of USDC that gets minted. And sure enough, Bitcoin does this pump right here. Bitcoin does this right up to 22,000, 23,000. We wick off of it. And then we hold this and we get back up into here. And then during March, right, we came back down here. During March, we were back below 20K. But that's when the banking crisis came in and we sent this thing once again. But I want to remember that it goes back even further. Remember November of last year, folks. This is really where it began because this is when CZ was trying to make Sam Bankman-Fried go bust. Remember that? Remember CZ? Sam Bankman-Fried? The little feud that we had going on between some of the biggest exchanges in the cryptocurrency space? Some of the most prominent figures. And see, this is the centralization within Bitcoin that we've been talking about. Folks want to talk about how Bitcoin's decentralized. No, it's not. There's a handful of actors that run the whole damn market. And we see it right here, clear as day. And so what did CZ do? He effectively, he effectively took down Sam Bankman-Fried. And we see, this is when FTX collapsed back here in November. And then what happens to start off the new year? We start this massive printing at the Paxos Treasury with Binance USD. And so all of this manipulation takes us back up in here. And then you see it today, that massive red candle that takes us back down. The space is still holding strong here, but we did kind of break out of this trading range. Okay, we'll see if we can hold this level of 25K. It's going to be interesting to see if we hold this level, 25K. But nonetheless, the crypto space taking a massive hit here today. The next thing, though, remember, is that we have a loss against Ripple that is coming for the SEC, a final act of desperation that has been filed here today, moving against the Binance exchange, one that we know they had in their back pocket, one that we know they have a case against, and they will probably end up settling this case. In my opinion, they will settle this case. It'll be a record settlement, and they'll be able to tout this, and good guy Gary Gensler will be able to go around and act like he's protected us all. So that's the rundown, folks. It's all good. It's another fantastic day to be in the XRP community. Once again, we're going to continue to expose the SEC and their corruption. And this is not what we want to see from the SEC as far as, claiming that 10 different tokens here are securities without giving us clarity. This is not how we do and operate in the United States. This is not the level playing field. This is not opportunity for free market capitalists to build innovation within this country. That is not what we want. Is Binance a bad actor? 100%. 100%. And they're going to try to cover up as much as they can by settling up with the SEC, in my opinion. But this is all a sideshow, a distraction to move us away from the fact that the XRP community is about to get a massive victory in this SEC versus Ripple lawsuit, folks. We are so close. Never forget, right, that Ripple just acquired a huge stake in Bitstamp Ripple just acquired Medico, and it is only upward from here for XRP, Ripple, and our community, guys. If you're looking to get tapped in with our investment community, we're having our next Discord meetup here in just less than 2 weeks. So if you're looking to get tapped in, if you're looking to meet me and our community, we're going to be having our next meetup in less than 2 weeks. And this coming Saturday, we have our weekly call. It's going to be a real estate update. So if you're looking to get tapped in on the real estate asset class, we would love to have you there. Our group talks about all of the asset classes, preparing on every single level and taking advantage of this opportunity that we call the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. It's all at my website, ZachRichter.com. We would love to see you guys there. God bless all of you. We will see you in the next one.